You seem like such a New Yorker, but you're from Chattanooga.
Yes, Tennessee.
But how was it growing up in Chattanooga for you? Because you're single. You're a single child.
Yeah, I'm an only child. Growing up for me was kind of fun because I had my grandparents. My mom was actually in D.C. working, so I was with my grandmother, my grandfather, and my aunt, Edna, who was a school teacher. So she forced me to do a lot of things that I didn't want to do when I was a kid. But one of the things she made me do was read. So I was reading by the time I was like 2.
Wow.
So she used to take me to school. It's an interesting kind of thing because it was the country.
Yeah.
So my grandmother worked. She was a domestic. She was like the help.
Right.
And my grandfather worked at a hotel during the day. So she took me to school with her. So when I was 2, I sat in the back of her room.
Boy, that is a gift, though. What
2
a
or 3.
gift, huh?
Yeah, but she taught 4th grade.
Right.
So when
You were very advanced.
so when a kid couldn't answer a question in her class, she would go, Sam, and I would answer the question, and then I'd have to fight all lunchtime. Because all those 4th graders would be, oh, you think you're smart. You know? And I went, well, I know I'm smart, and I'd have to fight because she made me answer questions, made them look dumb. So I was a good fighter and a smart kid.
There you
So
go.
I had all those things going for me. But I also grew up in segregation, so I learned a lot of lessons that most people don't have to learn today or shouldn't have to learn. But I learned how to conduct myself around the superior race in an interesting sort of way. You don't look people in the eye, but I did because I didn't know any better. So when I went to work with my grandfather, he also cleaned offices in the late afternoon. One office in particular was a real estate office. So I would sit on the buffer while he buffed the floors, and I emptied the garbage cans, the trash cans, waste baskets from everybody's desk, and I would look on their desks and see what they were doing, look at transactions and read stuff. And sometimes there would be a guy there, and they would talk to me. And I would look them in the eye and talk. Right. And my grandfather would just be shaking, like,
right.
Oh, my God, because I'd ask them questions, and they were like, boy, this boy's smart, Ed. Now, my grandfather's like, almost 70, and there's a 20-year-old kid talking to my grandfather like he was, he'd call him boy and other things, and I would kind of observe that, and he was just Ed, and my grandfather was like, yes, sir, Mr. Son, and I'd be like, what's something wrong with this dynamic?
Yeah. Boy, Sam, this is riveting. Like, I have chills listening to you tell the story, and I've never heard
It's not that
this
bad.
No, it's actually very, very riveting stuff, and it,
But it is what it is. But you had to learn how to live in a society where your life was devalued in an interesting sort of way.
Yeah.
But I also was in a very loving environment with all the people in my neighborhood. So all the teachers I had actually taught my mom, her brothers and sisters. And I never went to school with a white kid. I never had a white teacher until I got to college.
Oh, my gosh.
So my whole existence was in this black cocoon that taught me how to live in a world outside of my own environment.
Right.
But it was a loving and nurturing environment. When I was in school, there were certain kids that the teachers knew because all the teachers had to go to every kid's house and visit.
Right.
So they knew how everybody lived and who their brothers and sisters were, or who their parents were, because they taught them.
Right.
So when I was there were certain kids that had to learn how to diagram sentences and spell and do stuff because they were going to get a job or they were going into the army or whatever. So in that same class, I'd have a book on the other side of the room reading Shakespeare because I was going to college and I had to take the SAT.
Wow.
So they knew how to teach each student in that room so that they could make their way in the world.
It's the earliest progressive education there was.
It was great.
Yeah.
Really, it really is.
It was great.
That's amazing.